All right, so let's dive into something pretty cool, huh? ChatGPT, you know it, we know it, it can do a lot.
Right.
But image generation, not so much, right? At least that's what we thought.
Yeah, that was kind of the consensus.
Well, things have changed, my friend. This deep dive is all about the huge GE leap ChatGPT just took with image generation, and let me tell you, it's impressive. We're talking about a first-hand look at this new GPT-4o model, especially how much better the results are now. Oh, and hey, if you're digging this kind of stuff, hit that subscribe button on our YouTube channel, will you? It helps us reach that 1,000 subscriber goal. So yeah, back to ChatGPT.
Another world is how the tester described it.
Wow, another world, huh?
Compared to, what ChatGPT was spitting out before.
Okay, so like night and day difference then.
Yeah, pretty much. It's not quite photorealistic like Midjourney or what's that one, Flux 1.1 Pro.
Yeah.
But for what it is, it's a huge improvement, especially for things like logos and schematics.
Ah, so stuff where you need things to look a certain way.
Exactly. And the text is actually readable now.
No more of those like blurry, jumbled messes.
Nope. DALL-E 3, that was a big limitation.
Yeah, DALL-E 3. And just to be clear for our listeners, that's what ChatGPT was using for image generation before, right?
Right.
But now we've got GPT-4o.
And it's baked right into ChatGPT. Like, you don't need to use a separate tool or anything.
So it's all right there in the conversation flow. So like you're chatting away and boom, image pops up.
Yep. Super convenient for iterating on ideas.
No more jumping between different programs. That's got to be a time saver.
For sure. And the readable text, that didn't just happen overnight.
So how'd they pull that off?
Well, it took a year of work. And, get this, hundreds of human trainers.
Hundreds. Wow.
Yeah. They were specifically labeling the training data, marking text errors, anatomical weirdness, like the infamous 8-finger hands.
Yeah, I've seen those.
And then they used RLHF.
RLHF, remind me what that stands for again.
Reinforcement learning from human feedback. Basically, it's how they refined the model's performance based on all that human input.
Okay, so taking all those corrections and training the AI to do better, basically.
Right. And yeah, it might take a bit longer to generate an image now, but the quality is so much better.
Worth the wait, I'd say.
Yeah, I think so. Plus, there are all these new features, like you can make images with transparent backgrounds now.
Oh, that's handy for logos and stuff.
Exactly. And you can use HEX codes for color selection.
Ah, so you can get the exact color you want, huh?
Exactly. And another cool thing is it keeps things consistent across multiple iterations.
So, like, if you're designing a character or something, it won't suddenly look completely different in the next image.
Exactly.
That's huge for visual storytelling. And speaking of visual style, the tester actually tried generating a Polaroid from the 80s style image.
No way. Did it work?
It wasn't like perfect photorealism, but it was convincing. Shows you how versatile this thing is. And it can handle complex prompts, too, like with tons of elements.
How many elements are we talking?
The tester said they tried a prompt with like 10, maybe 20 different objects.
Seriously? Like what kind of prompt?
Something like a cyberpunk unicorn riding a flying pizza.
Okay, that's pretty wild.
And it actually generated something that kind of made sense.
That's impressive.
Now, here's something interesting, a bit of a policy shift. OpenAI, they're loosening up the restrictions on content.
Really? So, like, what can you generate now?
Well, they're saying you can create, quote, offensive content, end quote, within reasonable limits.
Interesting.
They're citing intellectual freedom.
So, kind of like Grok with its more open approach.
Kinda, yeah. But don't worry, there are still safeguards in place for, the really bad stuff.
Like child pornography and all that.
Exactly. The tester actually mentioned that they tried generating something questionable, like a poster or something, and the generation got interrupted.
So filters are still working?
Yeah, they're still there. Okay, now, accessibility. This is the big news for our listeners. This whole image generation thing with GPT-4o, it's available to all ChatGPT users now.
Wait, even free accounts?
Yep. Free, plus, pro, team, everyone.
Wow, that's a big move.
It is. They're really democratizing this technology.
Smart move. Got to keep up with the competition.
Exactly. And they haven't completely ditched DALL-E 3, by the way.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you can still access it through a dedicated GPT, but honestly, the tester said there's really no reason to go back after using GPT-4o.
So GPT-4 is that much better, huh?
That's the impression I got. Now let's talk about practical applications. The tester gave some great examples.
Oh, yeah, like what?
Well, they created a logo for a tech blog, gave it a transparent background, specified certain stylistic elements, the whole 9 yards.
Cool. What else?
They also made an infographic explaining, of all things, RLHF, the AI training thing we were talking about.
Right.
They gave it readable text, specified a color palette, made it look all professional.
So, like, you could actually use this for real work.
Absolutely. You could whip up schematics, illustrations for articles, all kinds of stuff.
Saves you a ton of time and hassle.
For sure. Now, gotta be realistic. GPT-4o isn't perfect. It still has some trouble with proportions, complex anatomy, and yeah, the generation can be a bit slow.
Right. Those are still some kinks to work out.
But overall, it's a huge step forward for ChatGPT, They're finally catching up to what Google Gemini can do with image generation.
So for a lot of projects, you might not even need Midjourney anymore.
Unless you absolutely need that super high-fidelity photorealism, yeah.
Makes you wonder what they'll come up with next.
I know, right? Productivity might take a nosedive, though, with everyone generating astronaut cats eating pizzas on Mars.
You're probably right.
So let's wrap this up. Today, we dove deep into ChatGPT's impressive leap in image generation with GPT-4o. We saw how they've tackled those pesky text issues, added cool new features like transparent backgrounds and precise color control, and made the whole thing way more consistent. And the best part, it's accessible to everyone. Think about it, a conversational AI that can generate high-quality images on the fly. How might that change the way you create, how you visualize your ideas, how you communicate? What new doors does this open up for you? That's something to ponder, isn't it?
It is.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep creating.
And keep those prompts coming.
Absolutely.
You never know what you might come up with.
That's the beauty of it. All right, see ya.
See ya.